Hey everybody, Daniel Ramsey here with MyOutDesk. I'm excited today, as always, because, well, this is our third or fourth conversation with Knolly Williams. He's a good friend of mine. We've hung out over the years. I've known this guy for more than a decade. And if you're here with us live today, it's really a special show. We are giving, well, a ton of free value. And when I say that, I really, really mean it. Again, my name is Daniel Ramsey. I'm the founder and owner of MyOutDesk. We help people grow their business, scale their business with talent. Knolly's a client, a good friend of mine again. And today we're going to talk about how to live your dream life with listings, being a listing specialist, okay, in real estate, and just focused on that. And the best way to thrive and the easiest and fastest way to build a really profitable real estate business with listings. Knolly, thanks for being here today.
Man, I'm super excited, Daniel. Thanks for having me. I love hanging out with you, brother. And you know, the last 3 times or 4 times that we did this, the first time we did it, I wore a jacket and a tie.
Yeah. yeah, that sounds right.
And I had my PowerPoint all ready to go, and we never got to it. So today I said, you know what, we're just going to hang out and we're going to just dump value. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and guys, if you're listening, you know, we're definitely going to give a lot of free value away at the end of this show. So stick with us. Also, Knolly loves questions. This is the only person that I know who actually has mastered the listings and done, I mean, Knolly's a speaker, author, trainer, been featured on all of the networks. This guy lives and breathes and dies listings and how to build brands and businesses. My favorite Knolly story is, so when I first met him, I'm like, hey, my name is Daniel. And you know, he's wearing this big old cowboy hat, right? And he's like, oh yeah, let's talk. And he's like, yeah, I wrote a book. And I'm like, you wrote a book? And he's like, yeah, it's all about, you know, listings and how to help people buy and sell a home. And you know, I don't know, 14 years ago, that just blew my mind because nobody was writing books about real estate. So this guy knows the listing game. He knows branding. He's wearing a cowboy hat and here to help us today. So let's just dive in. I mean, we're talking about how to build pillars, listing pillars within a real estate company. Like Knolly, you know, give us some, you know, how to do that. I mean, and I guess we should start with the reason for this call is that we have a ton of people who call us every single day and they're like, we need help building a business. And I'm like, well, we've got virtual assistants who can help you grow your business. But when they don't know what to do, we turn to somebody like Knolly who says, hey, this is how to do it. So Knolly, let's talk through that.
Yeah, so thanks, Daniel. And so thanks for that great setup, by the way. You know, it really is, when you're talking about listings, the first thing you have to do to succeed in the game is to decide that listings are what you want. You know, listings aren't what every agent wants. Some agents love working with buyers, and I always tell agents that love working with buyers, what's the #1 way to get more buyers? That's to have more listings. The more listings you have, the more buyers you're going to have. So if you love buyers, and we're not hating on buyers, but the truth of it is, the reality of it is, if you will focus on listings and make that your primary focus, make that your one thing in the real estate game, it will reward you with the life of your dreams. What do I mean by the life of your dreams? I mean, how would you like to make $250,000 or more a year, taking 4 to 5 vacations a year, okay, working 30 hours a week or less, having nights and weekends off, and be debt free, If you like that kind of lifestyle, and that's the kind of lifestyle you want to live in real estate, listings are for you.
Okay, but why do listings? Because, you know, we talk to a lot of people who have a blended, you know, approach. Like they go after leads on Zillow and Realtor.com, and they buy and they sign up, you know, for all those buyer stuff. And so half their business is listings through their sphere, and the other half they're buying buyers leads. But you say don't do that. And I agree with you, but I want to understand why. What's your mindset around the why?
Yeah, so in my mentorship masters group, we tackled this question last week. And one of our members was, before he came to me, he just joined me about a week and a half ago. He was
Hmm.
spending $2,100 a month on Zillow ads.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not against spending money. Okay. You guys know, you've seen my Facebook ads.
Yep.
I love marketing. I love marketing my listings. But the
Yep.
reality is there's a place and a space, and there's a time when you get into scaling up with ads, like, or with paying for leads. And the reality is you don't have to pay for leads until you're maximizing every single opportunity that you currently have. What's that mean? Well,
Yeah.
number one, we already know it's your sphere of influence. That's according to the National Association of Realtors, 7 out of 10 people that you close on will be people in your sphere. So that's 70% of your paycheck. So if you're going to make 100,000 this year, 70,000 of that's going to come from that one bucket.
Well,
Okay.
here's the thing too, is like I ask, because we have some of the top teams. In fact, the Real Trends 100, we have 36 of those people as clients. And
Mhm.
what's crazy about that is, when I talk to them, they're really focused on, they don't spend enough money on their sphere of influence, despite what you just mentioned, right? They're trying to buy leads, but if you can spend that money on your sphere where you're actually getting the business, you'll get
Mhm.
more. And
Absolutely.
how do you
Yeah.
do that? What do you do? What kind of, for people who are listening who are referral based or sphere based, like how do you double or triple that business?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So one of the things that I love about listings, and one of the reasons I wrote this puppy right here, Success
Yeah.
with Listings, we have a 46-step system that I teach in Success with Listings. It's the same system that I've used for more than a decade. It's
Yep.
how I was able to take over 1,000 listings my first 10 years in the business. Now here's the fun fact. Here's the fun fact. There
Yep.
are 46 steps in every listing. However, you as a listing specialist only
Yep.
have to do 3 of those steps.
Okay.
3. That means over 90%, it's about 91.3% of all the activities can be shoveled off to someone else. And who is that someone else? A VA. And where are the best VAs? MyOutDesk. So absolutely, without a doubt. I've been using MyOutDesk for how many years is that? I can't remember.
I think it's 5 or 6. And what I love about your story too is when we first met, I was explaining to you what we did, and you're like, Daniel, that doesn't sound like, I don't know, I can't do it. And then you had an opportunity, and I was like, well, we can do that. And we suckered you in, and now you're 100% in. So
Yeah.
I think a lot, and the reason I bring that up is because Happy Grasshopper, their CEO, Dan, he and I were talking, and he's like, I've known you for a decade. I've respected you, but I just wasn't sure that it would work for me. And then he
Yeah.
hired you, and he texted me, and then he called me, and he's like, I'm blown away by the talent you guys have. I can't
Yeah.
believe it. I wanted to hire everybody that I interviewed. They were all good. And I think you experienced that too.
Yeah, same thing. And with me, it was more of a thing where my wife got it before I did. She was like, "You need this, because she wanted us to start going on vacations. And
Yes.
those of you, if you just go through my Facebook feed,
Yep.
nobody will do this, but if you did, and you went back 5 years ago, and then you fast forwarded this year, well, guess what? Since I hired MyOutDesk, you're going to see things like me going overseas for a month, or me going to Hawaii for a month. And
Right.
people are asking, man, how are you able to live the lifestyle that you live? Well, the truth is, it's MyOutDesk. That's how I'm able to do it, because I've leveraged myself. And here's the truth. And we're going to get back to the question you asked in just a second. But here's the
Yeah. Yeah.
truth. The 2 biggest questions that you will have as a real estate agent, those of you listening and those of you watching, the 2
Yep.
biggest problems or issues that you'll ever deal with is either going to be you don't have enough leads or you don't have enough leverage. Those are the
Right.
2 biggest problems. So let's go back to the whole issue of the person that doesn't have enough business. They don't have enough leads, and they're like,
Right.
they feel as if they've already they've already tapped their SOI to the full degree. It's absolutely incorrect, because what we've learned in Gary Keller wrote a book called Millionaire Real Estate Agent. A lot of stuff is still relevant. Some stuff is no longer relevant in it, but there are some things that are evergreen in that book. Okay. Yeah. And one of those is, he talks about the concept that from every 12 people in your database, you should be getting one listing, but what people misunderstand, Daniel, is that one listing is going to come from their SOI directly. But no, each one of your, let's say you have 200 people in your sphere of influence. Yep. Each one of those people has 200 people. So if you are leveraging your sphere of influence correctly, you definitely you'll be able to, I want to use the word milk. That might not be, but you'll be able to milk and squeeze and wrangle every bit of business out of that SOI that it actually has.
Well, let's break that down, because I think there's a lot of people, like this gal that I was talking to yesterday. She happens to actually have this exact issue. Like, I've got 30 deals last year, and it's hard for me to double that because it's all sphere based and referral based, and I'm not sure what to do next. But I asked her how many people were in her database, and she said 2,500. And then the next question I asked is, how many of those people do you personally know? And how many of those people that you personally know and love you? And she was just pumping leads in, just names and numbers, and emailing them, versus a real sphere of influence. So Knolly, break that down for us. Like, who should be in my sphere of influence, and what should I be doing with them? And how would I know, like, what's the right amount and right mix for a real estate, listing focused person?
Yeah, there's a strategy that I teach. It's very effective. And it centers around how to get how to do 100 deals if you only had a database of 20 people. And a lot of agents are like, that's impossible, but it really isn't. There's a way to do 100 deals a year with just 20 people in your database. But here is the kicker, or here's the raw deal on that. Those 20 people have to be influencers. Okay, they have to be influencers. So you could come up with a strategy, and I call it. It's in my book here. By the way, my book is free. So anybody that wants to go grab my book, it's absolutely free. But the reason I wrote it, because I'm a busy guy, and I'd had people calling me, hey, I want to pick your brain about this, or pick your brain about that, or pick your brain about that. And I just didn't have the time, and I felt sorry for the people that I was not being able to help. So I just said, let me pick my brain myself, and I wrote it down. It's been picked, there it is. But one of the strategies is you've got to create a cause. Okay, so let's just come up with one out of the air. Wheelchairs for warriors. Okay, so that would be, that's just something I just thought of. Never thought of. It might exist already, so wheelchairs for warriors. So the idea is, for every let's say you go out and you realize that you can get a refurbished wheelchair for $600, or let's say $500 for $500. This is just kind of how I'm going to break it down real quick. So for $500, you can get a refurbished. So what you're going to do is take from every deal that you close, you're going to take $100 and you're going to donate it to your Wheelchairs for Warriors cause. Okay,
that's right.
So that means for every 5 listings that you close, you'll be able to provide one wheelchair for a wounded warrior or a veteran, let's just say. And so your goal is to provide, I'm writing this down. So you want to provide 20 wheelchairs this year.
Yeah.
Now, in order to do that, you've got to get 100 deals. So now what you do is you identify, let's say your database is 200 people. You're going to identify the 20 influencers in that 200 people list. We're talking about people that know people, people that work with people. So we're talking about doctors, we're talking about therapists, we're talking about teachers. It could even be a teacher, maybe not a teacher.
Yeah, I think I read in your book, it's good if they're in sales themselves and they have a high people IQ and they have their own client base. Like
Yes.
I love when you shake your head with your cowboy hat, by the way. But you know, the influencers typically are business owners who are in sales, who are gregarious and are out there, and they love, you know, they love people, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so just to put a bow on this, because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want people to start thinking deeper. So then all you're going to do after you identify those 20 people, or it might be 25, might be 30, might be 40 people of your 200,
yes,
that are like what Daniel just described. All you're going to do is you're going to call them, and you're going to have a very simple script. You're going to say, "Hey, Daniel, it's Knolly Williams. What's up, man?" And you chit chat a little bit. "Hey, Daniel, this is a business call. What I'm trying to do this year, Daniel, is I want to provide 20 veterans in the XYZ area with a wheelchair. And here's what I'm doing." And you just describe what you're doing, you know, what it's all about, why you're doing it. And Daniel, would you be willing to help me? Okay. Absolutely. They're going to want to help you. And then I'd say, Daniel, put away your checkbook, put away your credit card. I don't need that. But what I do need is, and then you just explain, for every deal that I close, I'm going to donate this and that. So every 5 that we do, the same thing could be true for if you want to put wells in Kenya, or you want to whatever cause you have. So, because here's the thing, Daniel, if I call my sphere of influence and say, "Hey, I want to do 100 deals a year because I got my eye on this new Benz, and I want you to help me buy it." That doesn't go well.
That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, and here, listen, guys. There's nothing wrong with you getting that Benz. You get your 100 deals closed, get your Benz. There's no problem. Uncle Knolly's not mad at you. We support you in that. But put it behind a cause, and what you're further going to do. The last step in this is, and I have a whole system that I talk about, but that's just one pillar. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to put accountability into this whole thing. So in other words, if you're talking to Dr. So-and-so, you know, he sees 4 or 6 patients a day, people or whatever, you're going to say, "Now, Dr. So-and-so, how many people can I put you down for that are thinking about buying or selling?" It could be either one, thinking about buying or selling. Within this year, how many? Well, Knolly, I think I could probably do maybe a couple every 3 months, you know, like, okay, great. So I'm going to put you down for, let me see, 2, 4, 6. Okay. That put you down for 8. Okay. Let's make it 6. Can you do 6? Yeah, I can do. Cause you remember, these people are seeing hundreds of people a year. Right. And so then every quarter, what you do is you send out a report. You've got 20 people that are in your whatever club you call this, you know, your Wheelchairs for Warriors Club, or, you know, whatever. And then you send out an update every single month, or you have your VA send an update every single month. And then you contact those people maybe once a month and say, "Hey, you know, we've got you," or once a quarter, you say, "Hey, Dr. So-and-so, we had you down for 8. We bumped that down to 6. And so far you've sent us 1. How are we doing?" And you keep it top of mind with those people that you know, listen, it's not going to be a bother to them. And then guess what you're doing? Every time that you award one of these, a new well that you built, or a new wheelchair, or whatever it is, you're just blowing up social media with that. And people want to be part of your cause. So that's just one way to go deep. But the truth is, your sphere of influence is going to be 70% of your business if you work it correctly. I teach an 18-touch system, and most agents aren't doing it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so sphere of influence, you've got, just real quick, I love the movie nights and referral parties. We have a great client up in Washington. She every week I see her post. My goal is to give 10 referrals and get 5 referrals back. It's the whole Michael Mayer referral kind of system.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's a great one.
The guy that we both know and love. So that's the sphere of influence. The one thing that I think everybody listening needs to pull out of this is that from every 12 people in your sphere of influence ought to give you 1 deal a year.
Absolutely.
And that's a benchmark for you to drive towards.
Right.
But after I've done that, and nailed that, Knolly.
Yeah.
What's my next pillar in the listing world to build?
The next pillar, and I'm glad that you said that, Daniel, because so many people come to me and they want to knock down every pillar. Here's the truth. You can do the right things in the wrong order, and guess what you end up with? Chaos.
The wrong result,
because you're doing the right thing. Oh, I'm buying Zillow ads. That's the right thing. I'm not saying it's wrong, but you're doing it in the wrong order. Okay, so what's the next step? The next step is you need to build a farm. Okay, you need to build a farm, and here's what you're going to do when you build a farm. You're going to become a celebrity in that farm. A guy asked me just last week, one of my Mentorship Masters students. You know, I have a free program called Mentorship Masters. We'll talk about it later, but this guy asked me, he says, man, I'm brand new in an area, brand new in the city, you know, and he's talking about it like it's some kind of excuse. And I'm like, first of all, number one, and with my Mentorship Masters, they give me the permission to tell them the truth, right? Because they want to be great. They want to be great. So I said, number one, you will never use that language again. I'm brand new in an area. You know, it's just like an agent coming up saying, I'm brand new in the business. Can I practice on you? What? I mean, don't ever advertise that. We don't need to know that you're brand new. And I told him, I said, look, you can parachute me into any city in North America, maybe not in some other areas that I'm not as familiar, but any city in North America, you parachute me there, and I will be within 90 days, I'll be one of the top agents in that city, period. I will never say, just helicopter me in, drop me with the parachute, and just let me get my bearings for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna dominate it. And I said, you need to be thinking the same way. There's no such thing as being brand new. I said, take your phone out. Every one of us got one of these in our pocket. Take this, start going to all the local restaurants. You know, Uncle Louie's Donut Shop, the barbecue joint, they're springing up everywhere. These little emergency clinics, okay? And just go interview these people, talk to the doctors. And then it's like, hey guys, Knolly Williams here. I'm in I'm your St. Louis realtor. And today we're at such and such clinic. And we're talking to Dr. So-and-so, and he, whatever, you know? And you just become the man about town or the woman about town. What are you doing? Number one, you're getting to know your area. And number two, you're becoming famous in the areas that you serve. There's a whole bunch of ways. It's a whole conversation, because I specialize in helping agents become famous. So the number two thing is you gotta be rocking a farm. You gotta be rocking a farm. And just be thinking, guys, about an area that's geographically about maybe a 1 mile radius from where you live. That's it, you know? Because you're going to get significant business just from moving that in.
So, okay, let's roll. We've got a lot of people here. And I just want to remind everyone, Knolly loves questions. We like interactions. We're getting a lot of, Selena put LOL on one of your comments, which is great. And somebody asked if we're going to be able to send this information out. We'll have a replay. We'll have this on our YouTube channel. We'll Twitter it, we'll Facebook it. It's going to be everywhere. We'll send this out to the world. But Knolly, real quick, when I hear farm, I hear the old school door knock, send mailers out, host, neighborhood parties, do open houses in that area, and get everybody's information. Like, what are some of the steps to, and did I nail them all, or is there more, or like, what's some of the steps to owning a farm?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it quite a bit of them, but like one of the biggest things that I teach my students to do is you make your open house an event, okay? And what that means is you're going to have a local winery that shows up. We're going to be doing wine tasting. You're going to have a local, sandwich shop or a deli. They're going to be bringing in samples of cheeses and different meats or selections that they have. Maybe even a vegan options as well. Or a local pizzeria. Hey, we're not having an open house. We're having a pizza party. What's up, huh? And we might even have, if Knolly's coming, we might even have some draft beer up in there, right?
And some music, and maybe
and music too. So we're going to turn that into an event. It's not just going to be an open house. Okay, we don't do open houses. We do events. Then as far as the door knocking is concerned, yeah, you want to go to the 100 doors around that area and you want to invite people to the event. If you have a new listing in the area, you want to do circle prospecting. And circle prospecting is super effective. I teach about it. It's a system. So it's beyond the scope of our call here, but and then you want to be the man about town or the woman about town. You want to start becoming famous, because the thing is, guys, we live in an age right now where you got to start taking it to video. I fought this for many, many years. And it's just getting to be more and more. Some people don't even want to have their face, their picture out there. Here's the truth, guys. I'm going to say this and take notes. When somebody meets you for the first time, they will always have their guard up. If they've never seen a picture of you or a photo or seen a video or anything of you, they will have their guard up, because it's in the Homo sapien race that's what we do. Friend or foe, we don't know for sure. We're feeling you out. But when someone sees you for the second time, they drop their guard. They have no guard whatsoever. It's the reason why I teach real estate agents to have a pre-listing video. Before you go out to the listing appointment, you make sure that client watches your pre-listing video, because when you show up at their house, they know you already. There's no guard up. So again, when you're knocking on a door to invite somebody to an open house, they already know you. Why do they know you? Because they've seen your marketing. Yeah. Just real quick, Daniel, I'm going to throw this in here.
I love it.
And this is my high ticket stuff. This is my 25,000 a year clients. You know, this Daniel Ramsey here. So for him, I'll share this. But here's the truth. You can go to the Minor ER or Daniel's Donut Shop or whatever it is, and you can go there and you can just do a quick video with the owner. And he's gonna love it. You high five him. Now he's got your stuff all over his donut shop as the agent around town, right? But the other thing you're going to do with that, you're going to give it to your video editor, right? Somebody right there at MyOutDesk is going to take care of your MyOutDesk assistant. You send it to somebody to chop it up. They can use iMovie, whatever it is. Chop it up a little bit, make it look good, and then you're going to do a boosted post around your farm. Okay. Yeah. So and what is it? Oh, am I trying to get listings? Am I trying to get buyers? No, you're just becoming a local celebrity. That's what you're doing. So instead of spending $2,100 on Zillow ads for my mentorship masters member, there's $100. Yeah, you spend $100 or even $30. You boost that post about the new donut shop in town to the people that are within them, because you can target within a 1 mile radius of that donut shop. You can put the address in there. So again, if you're doing that like 2 or 3 of those a week, you got no competition. That's farming, guys.
Knolly, what I think is holding people back from doing that kind of thing is that they wouldn't know what to say. Like, I mean, am I doing you're an expert, you've been doing this a long time. Yeah. What would somebody say during that video as a call to action if they're a real estate professional wanting to get listings?
Yeah, that's a great, what I like to do with it, Daniel, is it has to be in your languaging. It has to be in it has to be you. So what I would do if I was going to Daniel's Donut Shop, we'll stick with that theme. I would say, hey guys, Knolly Williams here. You know that I'm Austin's realtor. I'm the preferred realtor here in Austin, and I'm hanging out with my man Daniel Ramsey, who's the owner of Daniel's Donut Shop. Now, what did I do just there? I established that I am the realtor's choice in the area. Yeah. And I happen to be hanging out with my buddy that I just met. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's guys, this is how it works. Okay. So then, we'll talk about this and that and whatever. And then I might even say something to, Daniel, who owns a shop. I say, now, Daniel, talk a little bit around, because here's the thing. The quality of the answers that you get come from the quality of your questions. Okay. So after you do the interview and everything, that person's going to be warmed up to you. They're going to love you to death. And then you just ask them a question. You just say, now, Daniel, if you were buying or selling a home in the local area, what would you feel? Would you trust me with the sale of your house? Or talk more about why I would be the agent of choice, right? Now, they never met you, right? But they're just going to come up with something like, hey guys, and that can all be edited. There's a miracle in the video world, guys. It's a miracle. Some of you guys don't know about it. It's called editing. Okay? And
you don't have to worry about saying the wrong thing or saying the right thing. Like even on this video, like we're live and there's a couple hundred people that are going to see this right now. But if you and I screw up, we just edit it, you know, and it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And the thing is, when you have a piece, like I wrote a book, this is the book you were talking about earlier called Consider It So. This is me when I was 33 years old.
You look exactly the same.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I wrote a book called Consider It So. Now imagine me, Daniel, I walk into Daniel's Donut Shop and I say, hey, I'm the local realtor here in town. I'm the preferred agent, you know, in this area. And, you know, I wrote the book on getting, you know, people getting their home sold. And then, but, well, what can I do for you? Well, I'm here because I want to interview you, because there's not a place in this area within a 1 mile radius of where I serve that I don't know about. And I just found out about you. So I need to know about you. Can we talk real quick? Great. And if they can't talk right then, just schedule a time to sit down with them. You got your book right there. You know, you let them read your book for a couple of days. They get to know, like, and trust you. And then all of a sudden they're like, when you actually do, because you might just go there to schedule a time to film with them, right? So 2 or 3 days later, when you come back, they've already read about you. They're like, man, this guy, he's the real thing, right? And so they're going to be bragging about you.
You can't drop the book and not tell people how to get that, because, so one thing that Knolly does way better than anybody else in the entire industry is branding. And I personally have given a ton of our clients a copy of that book, and, you know, they bought it from you and then customized it to their own world. Because I have a good friend, he's a referral guy. He's doing about 100 transactions. He's hired a virtual assistant and we're helping him grow his brand, but we're teaching him how to become the local famous guy. And I'm like, you need a book. And why would you write your own when Knolly's got one that you can just buy and then make it your own? And so tell us about that a little bit. Why'd you write it? How could somebody get it? And why is it important?
Well, the two biggest commodities for a real estate agent, or the biggest commodity, I should say, is your time. Okay.
Yes.
The biggest commodity is your time. And then, you know, the second to that is money. Okay. You need more. Okay. Don't buy the argument that you have enough. Okay. If you have too much, you know, there's people that can use it, you know, that be happy to take some of it off your hands.
There's some good that can happen in the world.
There's some really good. If you're making too much, there's some good out there. So what I did, I would always tell my students, like I'm talking to you guys now, say, hey, do this, do that. And I found that they wouldn't implement. So people wanted kind of a done for you solution. So I came up with, guess what? This is my buddy, Cal Carter. He licensed it along with many other people. And all you do, there's a one-time licensing fee, but that's paid for by your advertisers, okay, by your sponsors. So on the back of your book, you know, you've got, he's got a home warranty, carpet cleaner, home inspector, a moving service, a cleaning service, and a handyman, okay? And they get to tag along with Cal on every listing that he goes on. And then he's got his mortgage person here. And guess what? The cost of these, this is $99 a piece, and that covers the entire cost of the license, okay? So this is the same thing with mine. So all Cal had to do was change the cover of the book. He just changed this part. And you can go to Fiverr for $20. They'll change it out for you. Or he just used our template. We give you the template. You could do it yourself. Now the guts of the book, all the 80 pages, he didn't change a single word. Why? Because I made the book. When I first wrote it, it was all about me. But when I started licensing it, I took all the Knolly stuff out and I made it generic to any marketplace. Now, the reason I wrote the book, and if people want to know how to get, they can go to my website, knolly.com, and then they'll find a link to get it. You license it, and then it's no cost to you. Now, the reason I wrote it, number one reason, there's actually two reasons. The first one was to leverage my time, believe it or not. Because when I wrote this book, people already kind of knew me in Austin. I grew, when I started in Austin, within 4 years, 4 years, I was number 7 in the city. Okay, ranked number 7 out of 9,800 agents, 9,800 agents. My production was ranked number 7 by the Austin Business Journal. Okay, they looked at all the production and all the agents. So it only took me 4 years to get to within the top 10 spot. But what was really hard on me was my time. And I would have to explain to people things like why they should sell their home, or how to prepare their home for selling, or what kind of marketing do you do to get my home sold, or things like, well, how do I choose the right agent, or how do I prepare for the closing, or how do I work with the offer? Like, what do I expect? Well, after writing this, Daniel, at every phase of the process, now I just tell my clients, read chapter such and such. It'll help you out. So like when they're ready, before they list with me, they read a certain chapter, why it's better to list, why to list with me. Then I say, okay, now you've already listed with me. We got to get your home ready for the market. That's in chapter 4. They read chapter 4, they get their home ready for the market. They call me out when they're ready for the photographer to come out. So once the photography's taken, they gotta, we put it on the market. I say, hey, here's how you're going to handle showings, because it's going on the market tomorrow. Read chapter 5. It's going to tell you all about handling showings. Okay, Knolly. Then we get an offer in. I say, hey, we got a good offer. I think it's pretty good. You need to check it out with your wife. But read chapter 7. It's all about working with offers, and it's going to explain the major things in the offer to look for. Okay. And then we can have a conversation after you've read that. So they read it. They call me up. They're like, Knolly, I don't have any questions. I think the offer's good. Great. So then when it's time to close, I say, hey, we're about to close. Go ahead and read chapter 8. It's going to tell you everything you need to know to prepare for closing. Then when I'm at the closing, I give them 5 copies of my book to hand on to people that they know, right? And I'm paying it forward. So it's really, what it is it's become like a virtual assistant in a way, because it leverages my time and not having to explain things over and over. The second thing it does is it automatically establishes that I am the authority, period. Okay. So when I walk into Daniel's Donut Shop with my book, he ain't asking no kind of questions. He's scheduling a meeting with me. We're going to do a little video, and then he's going to be talking and bragging on me about why I'm the best choice in town to list or sell your home, even though he's never worked with me before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense. And I love the positioning it puts you in. You don't have to compete at that point. No. Like, hire me to list and sell your house. I'm the only guy in the area that has written a book. I'm the number X, Y, and Z in listings. I sell more houses faster than anyone else. Here's my book. I'll sign it for you. I mean, it's just, it destroys competition, which
crushes the competition, crushes it.
Yeah, I think we're also going through like this area where a lot of markets are flattening out. So you're going to see agents cutting commissions and begging for things. And you're going to be competing with your aunt's nephew who just kind of got her license yesterday and is going to do it for free. So I think it's really important to have all of your marketing ready so that when you're out there, you're really competing at a high level. Great point. So farming, we got the farming thing down. What's next? What's the next pillar that you would just kind of crush if you were to do, like you said, parachute into a new neighborhood and kind of take it over?
So the first pillar is your sphere of influence. We talked about that. And when you start to become famous, you got your book out there, you've got your pre-listing video, you've got your nice pre-listing package, which all comes in my system that you license, and it's no cost to you. But once you have all that stuff, guess what? Your sphere of influence, they start treating you differently, right? You start talking to people that you've known all your life, and they're like, oh, Knolly, well, I know you don't have very much time, but can I ask you a question real quick? Here's a funny thing happens, Daniel. When you start to become famous in your area, people start to respect you. People that didn't respect you before, you weren't sure, and you're not doing it for that. But here's what it does. It shortcuts the amount of time that you have to spend on every question or person. People all the time when I'm at a listing appointment, they're like, well, could we ask just one more question, please? We know you're busy. They always say, we know you're busy. They're trying to rush me. They're trying to get signed so they can rush me on to, they know I'm busy. Why? Because it looks like I'm a celebrity, right? Because I position myself that way. So your sphere of influence is number 1. Number 2, we talked about your farm. You become a celebrity in your farm. Number 3 is your niche. Number 3 is your niche. Your niche, baby. Some people call it niche, but here's the trick. The reality is you got a niche to get rich. You got to drill down. And a niche is, like I've got a buddy that owns oneacreplus.com. It's homes on one, you know, if you have a home on more than 1 acre, it could be homes with pools. It could be waterfront property. It could be beachfront. It could be golf course communities. It could be brand new. It doesn't matter. Niches can go on and on and on. And the thing is, I took a kind of a page from the medical industry, and I noticed when I did the research that the general practitioner makes about $160,000 a year as a GP, as a general practitioner. Right. But a cardiologist makes significantly more. In fact, they make over $100,000 more a year, plus they work 50% less nights and weekends, and they see 30% fewer patients. Right. So they work about 40% less, and they make about 40% more. How is that possible? Sure. It's only possible because they're a specialist. And the reality is, a cardiologist, oh, you might say, well, he's a heart doctor, he's in demand. Well, the reality is, do you know how many people have heart problems in the United States? It is a big killer. It is a big problem, but it's only about 6% of the population. Right. That means that a cardiologist is irrelevant to 94% of the American population. I'm not looking for one right now. I don't need them. If you come up to me and say cardiologist, I'll shake your hand and move on. I don't need you. But for the 6% that they need, that need them, oh man, they are super relevant. And that's the reason why when you start to niche down, you start to become the divorce person in town, or it might be short sales or whatever it is, whatever your niche is. Probate. You become that probate person. Guess what? Now you're working with 20 attorneys in town. They all do probate, and you are their #1 choice. Now guess what you do with your book? You turn the back over and you put a probate attorney on the back, and then you print about 20 or 30 copies for each of the attorneys that you're partnered with. And guess what they're doing? They're passing out your book to their clients. Okay. So guys, look, you got your sphere of influence rocking. You got your farm rocking and your niche rocking. I don't even want to talk to you, right? I don't even want to hear you complaining unless you're rocking 100 in each category. You're doing 100 in your sphere of influence. You're doing 100 in your farm, and you're doing 100 in your niche. You're doing 300 deals a year. Now you're like, Knolly, what else can I do?
Hey, so break that down, because I want to make sure that
and it doesn't have to be that many, by the way. I'm just kind of being facetious with
I'm glad. But here's the one thing. So I want to make sure that the audience knows you want to build those pillars one at a time. How long should I expect it to take me to build that, each one of those pillars?
I think that's an excellent question. Actually, nobody's ever asked me, so I have to think through it in my cerebral. But here's the truth: sphere of influence doesn't take long at all. See, here's what you need: systems. I want you guys to write this down. If you're driving, don't write it down. but if you're not driving, write it down. Systems. That's one of my the 8 core pillars that I teach. Is one of them is systems. Okay. So you got to have the right systems in place. If you have the right systems in place, you'll be able to get most of these things done very, very, very quickly. Now, your sphere of influence is only going to take you, it's only going to take you 2 weeks to set up, 2 weeks. Okay. And then to implement that and kind of get it rocking, I would say no more than 4 to 6 weeks at the max. Okay.
Yeah, but that's you. That's you, and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
What if I'm doing, like the gal that I talked to yesterday is doing 30 deals, most are referrals, but she doesn't have really the systems that you're talking about. And she doesn't really even know. So, her name was Beth. I really liked our conversation, but how long would it take for somebody who doesn't have your skill set or your experience to actually implement this and start seeing real results? And we like to say, when we do a strategy session with people, we call it a double my business. Like if I'm at 30, I want to go to 60. And that is 100% possible in the real estate world. In a 12-month calendar, you can double, right? Yeah. And I know a lot of people who do. So what do you think the time frame should be for somebody who knows nothing?
Yeah, so if you don't know anything at all, the first thing you should do is get this book right here. And it's called Success with Listings, because I actually drill down. I give you a step-by-step system for how to do this. Don't do this alone, guys. There's no need to forge a path alone. There's a need. Here's where you want to be real good at. I'm going to say this because Daniel asked the question. You need to become an excellent detective An excellent detective. You don't have to be an excellent creative. Okay.
Right.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to think about how to do this. Others have already thought it through. There is a system, there is a way. I write about it, and all you have to do is follow it. Just become a detective of following, of saying, how is there, because here's the thing, Daniel. Some people are like, well, I don't like it that way, or I don't like, well, guess what? You don't pay yourself. Okay. Your money comes from someone else. So we don't do the things that we like or that we want to do. We do the things that the market is requesting and the market demands. Okay. Otherwise, we need to be in a different business. You have to be in the business to serve your customer. And your customer is saying, here's what your customer is saying. I'm just going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
Your customer is saying, my customer is saying, I'm going to put it to me. My customer is saying, Knolly Williams, I do not want to talk to you. That's what they're saying. Okay. They don't want to call me. They want to text. Okay. They don't want to text. They want to, do something. So the reality is, I used to put on my marketing, call Knolly, call Knolly. Well, people, they don't want to call me. And as soon as they figured out a way to not have to call me, they started implementing. So I already realized people don't want to call me. It's the last thing they want to do is to sit down with Knolly Williams and talk about selling their house, because they just don't want, it's not something they want to do. So the reality is, you have to, so don't try to reinvent the wheel, but going back to the question, 90 days for your SOI. That's all it's going to take, guys. Just 90 days to put that in play. Put that whole system in place. I teach an 18-touch system that you can have in place within 30 days, and you'll have the whole system humming within 90 days. Within 90 days.
Where do people fall down when they're building out this sphere of influence thing? Like what, because this is such a great need, and I don't think we need any more content. We just need to help people execute what you're talking about. What do people do? What are the mistakes they make when they're implementing this?
The mistake that people make is that they have bad habits. Okay. They have bad habits. That's really the chief and cornerstone mistake. And the two things that keep them back from achieving their ultimate greatness is fear and doubt. Fear and doubt. Those are the two things. So what do I mean by bad habits? Well, here's what I mean. I've done a lot of things wrong, guys. A lot of things wrong. Okay. Yep. In my business, I made a lot of mistakes with money, and I've advertised or done this, didn't work out. So I don't teach any of that. Guess what? I don't teach the mistakes. I just teach the stuff that works. But here's one thing that I never made a mistake on. Never made a mistake on. And if you bring me any agent, Daniel, that's struggling and they don't have enough business, they don't have enough leads, they guaranteed they're not doing this. And that's time blocking. Time blocking. If you're not time blocking, this is the one thing that I've done every single day of my life, not of my life, but of my real estate life. I've time blocked every single day from 9 to 11 or 9 to noon. Every single day. What do you guys think I did before I got on this particular Zoom call? Time blocked. I did 2 hours of nothing but lead generation. Lead generation. That's all I do is generate leads. I don't care how many I have. I always have my pedal, the foot down to the lead generation pedal, always. So if you will commit to lead generate every single day, then you will generate and follow the system. Don't just do, because the big question people have when they sit down is like, what do I do? Well, you don't have that question anymore, because guess what? You've got the book to help you. It's going to tell you this is what you need to be doing right now, right? So if they would commit to time block every single day from 9 to 11, if you need to wake up earlier and do it from 8 to 10 or 7 to 9, it doesn't matter. But give yourself 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, or 3 hours a day if you want to start. You'll find that eventually I do what I call a 2x4. So I do 4 days a week, 2 hours a day. That's all I do. Because here's the truth. This Pareto's principle. 80% of the things that you do only account for 20% of your results. But 20% of the things you do will account for 80% of your results. So if you have an 8-hour day, okay, or a 9-hour day, and you spend 2 hours of that doing lead generation, it will create the 80% of your income. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. So that's the answer to that question. That's the one thing. I guarantee you, any agent comes to me and they're not reaching their ultimate goals is not doing that.
It's just their habits. They're not focused on effective lead generation every single day. if you're doing that, you're going to grow your business.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Knolly, we only have 10 minutes left. We've got some time for questions. I really appreciate your time. I know how valuable it is, and also your expertise. I mean, this guy wrote the book, so it's kind of crazy. What would you want people to know moving forward? Like, what's the thing from this entire conversation that they need to kind of implement today to win with listings? And before you answer that, guys, this is a 3-part series. I totally forgot to mention that. I was like, oh my goodness. First of all, definitely go to myoutdesk.com/Knolly. That's spelled funny, Knolly. I just want to make sure you get it. Not only are we going to give away a chapter in his book for free, but there's 3 videos to further give you more detail about what we're talking about today. But this is a 3-part series. It's called 40 Listings to 400. So today we're focused on how to get to that 40, and good content, but we are going to continue that conversation, because once you're at 100, it's a lot easier to get to 200. Once you're at 200, it's a lot easier to go to 400. So we're going to really dive deep on what the team needs to look like, what the systems need to look like, and basically what your lead generation system needs to be in the next 2 kind of interviews. And it's going to be good, because it's just going to be good. Knolly, thanks again for being here, but let's give them, what's the most important thing based on this conversation for somebody to walk away from today?
Yeah. So the most important thing, we've already given you several that are really, really good. Number 1, become a local celebrity. Okay.
Yes.
Number 2, work the 3 buckets, the 3 lead buckets, which is your sphere of influence, your farm, and your niche. Work those 3 buckets religiously. And then we already talked about habits. That's time block every single day. And let me mention a 4th one that I think we can't leave out. And it begins with an A. So don't hang up on me when I drop this on you. It's called accountability. Accountability. And all accountability means, guys, is the ability to give an account. That's all it means. So don't get, freaked out by the word. Okay. It's all it means. The reality is, the reason why, no successful person will get there to the ultimate heights of their success without it. You can't do it. You got to have accountability. And you know what's the number 1 thing that my VAs do for me, Daniel? They keep me accountable. Okay. You're supposed to be doing this at this time. Where are you?
Yeah.
So accountability, that's the reason why I started a program called Mentorship Masters.
Yeah.
I used to charge $25,000 a year for people to be part of something like this. Now it's absolutely free when they join me through my Mentorship Masters program at partnerwithnolly.com. So it involves them, because I'm building a national organization all over the nation through EXP. But I would say you got to have accountability. A lot of people say they can't afford a coach, they can't afford a mentor. You got to have it, guys, because without accountability, you'll never reach your ultimate heights. And let me say one more thing.
Yeah.
You got to have a big why. And people are like, well, my big why is my kids. My big why is my grandchildren. My big why is whatever. Here's what I like to see people eventually move their big why to, and that's to become all that you can be. See, my purpose is to inspire you to become all that you were meant to be. See, you're meant to be something, and it's probably not what you are now. So a big why, like becoming all that I was meant to be. And why do you want that? So that you can live the life you were meant to live. Many of you are not living a life that you were meant to live. How do I know that? Because I talk to you guys every single day. Yeah. You're in feast or famine, you're struggling, you're trying to make all this stuff work. And there is another life. If anything you get out of this, just realize there is another life outside of that. And Daniel and I have found it. And we're trying to bring it to people and say, you know what? It's available, guys, and it's just around the corner. What am I talking about? I'm talking about being debt-free, having no debt, no bills of any kind. I'm talking about having money in the bank, not having to live on feast or famine. I'm talking about taking your family on the kind of vacations that they deserve to have. I'm talking about you having the kind of life and the kind of business that you deserve. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about you doing all of it working less. One of the best things I learned from my coach, because I hired my first coach when I was 8 months in the business. She told me, Knolly, because I was doing 40, my goal was 40 deals a year. She said, Knolly, let's make it 100. And I guarantee you, if you agree to make it 100 instead of 40, you'll work less than if you did 40. And I told her it's impossible, no way. But I thank her to this day, because it's easier, guys, to do 100 deals a year, because then guess what? You got a whole team of people. It could be a small team, but you got leverage on your side. Absolutely. So those are some of the takeaways, Daniel.
And that's exactly why this is 40 to 400, because it actually is easier to have a larger business. It's easier because you have team members who are with you. They're connected to your why. You know, hopefully you have a big virtual assistant team, so they're doing all the work that you just shouldn't be doing. And you're focused on the one thing that is creating relationships, driving revenue, lead generating every day, and actually doing the thing that we enjoy. I like talking. You like we like talking. And so, you know, don't put the systems and processes in place. Hire people to help you do that, and you focus on growth, growth, growth. Knolly, once again, thanks a bunch for being here. Guys, we're going to send out this email and video. Also, you know, come subscribe to next, I think we're doing it in 2 weeks, where we're going to talk with who should be on your team, what the lead generation systems should actually look like, you know, how to build a huge team and actually go from 40 to 400 listings. So that should be super fun. If you want more information about this conversation, links to the book, check out Knolly's site. Knolly, it's partner with Knolly. Is that right?
Yeah, partnerwithnolly.com is good for them to go to.
Okay,
that's for my mentorship masters. Yeah.
Perfect. Where you're giving all your best stuff away for free.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, Knolly, thanks again for being here. Guys, thanks for being with us. Thank you so much for being you know, involved with MyOutDesk and joining us today, Knolly.
Oh, I love MyOutDesk. Can't say enough about it. Love you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Bye, brother. Thank you.